Hi everybody, how are you doing? Well, it's sunny outside. That noise of rain you can hear is the video. Today we are looking at, now that's what I call music, 54. So we're rattling through these now. I keep wondering if I should take a break. I'm certainly not committing to doing one every day. That's the way it's going at the moment, but I think I might take a day off soon. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for everyone who's watching so far. I don't know if you've seen them all or if you're just watching one by one at random. It's entirely up to you. Feel free to dip in and out or to binge on it all. I hope you find it all interesting. The overview, for anyone who's not seen these before, is to look at the songs on all these Now albums which have stood the test of time. We have something called a positive bias, which means we want to like songs. We want to give them the benefit of a doubt. It's only if they're very weak or disappointing that I feel the need to criticise. But I think you'll find that the Nows, all in all, have been more good than bad. There have been a few stinkers. We had a really bad one a couple of Nows ago, Now 52. You probably 1 in 5, 1 in 6 isn't all that. Ditto, 1 in 5, 1 in 6 is above average. Let's see how this one stacks up then. Now, one other high-level thing is that this album comes from April 2003. And 2003 was the last year that the singles charts were entirely physical based, i.e. records, CDs, maybe even some cassettes, maybe even some mini discs at this point. It was 2004 when the charts opened the doors to digital downloads, and that was a real revelation, I think, or revolution even. A revelation and a revolution. A revelation because it revealed what people actually like and what people actually downloaded, and a revolution because it took the chart control out of the hands of the major labels and distributors. Any Tom, Dick or Harry could get something onto YouTube or something, get it downloaded. Well, not necessarily YouTube, but one of the digital stores. So with that in mind, I think we have to see 2003 as one of the last years in which major labels really had full control over stuff, which means it's a fairly corporate year for music, and I'm not a big corporate music fan. Now, I have to say, Tattoo are the exception that proves the rule, because they made a bloody great opening, and I think it was distinctive because it was so different to everything else around it. They certainly racked up 209 million views with this, All the Things She Said, which was also a song name by Simple Minds, way back on Now 7, nothing to do with this. It's a pretty good song actually, it's very striking, very big, very melodic, certainly, like I say, totally different to everything else that was out. Really like nothing else. And from Russia as well, and you really don't get many pop songs that make it big in England that have come all the way from Russia. So a fairly striking opening to this album really, and yeah, pretty much a good one. Okay, this is followed by Justin Timberlake, and it's not a bad song actually for the NSYNC guy. All things considered, it's pretty good. It's got a fairly live feel to it. It's quite frenetic, and yeah, it feels like it's got live drums and a pretty good groove. It's quite a kind of scratchy and sort of like nervous kind of song in a way. But yeah, it works quite well. I'm not hating on that. Now, we've got another good one, and it's Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland. So we're off to a fairly strong start here. We've had a few from Nelly. Here he kind of slows it down a little. But I do find that Nelly's got a gusto in his vocal style. He always seems like genuinely quite hyped up and quite excited. This has had a massive 750 million views. What differentiates it from a lot of similar stuff is it's got a good tune. I know I sound like a real start record singer, if you like, but it really makes a difference, I think. This is why 750 million people like this, and not sort of 75,000. It's actually got a good song, good vocals, and it's a good duet. They've got quite a bit of sort of chemistry there. So yeah, I like this one. Okay, now here's a weird one. Richard X versus Liberty X and Being Nobody. Now, Richard X was behind the Sugar Babes Freak Like Me abomination. And he's up to this similar kind of thing here with Liberty X. He's taken a mashup of two old songs that really shouldn't go together. One from the world of electronica, late 70s electronica, the other from kind of 80s soul. There's two songs Being Boiled by the Human League and Ain't Nobody by Rufus and Shaka Khan. It's a bit like Freak Like Me. It's very conceptual. It sounds like, they've sort of gone to a lot of work to try and find two songs and stick them together. I'd say it's a bit more successful, mainly because the singer is a better singer or a more convincing singer than the girl in Sugar Babes. The thing about a song like Freak Like Me, and I've worked out why I didn't like it, is it's such a kind of sexy song and kind of freakish in a way. It's basically quite, it's kind of fetishy, I suppose. You've got to mean it to be convincing on a song like that. You've got to be quite freaky, I think. And I'm sure she's a lovely girl, the girl in the Sugar Babes, but she just didn't sound convincing. She didn't sound like she was really into freaky sex or anything. As a result, it sounded very vanilla. At least this girl's getting into the spirit of Ain't Nobody a bit more like it should be sung. Maybe it was just the wrong choice of song for the Sugar Babes. So, yeah, this one's significantly better. Richard X versus Liberty X and Being Nobody. Quite frankly, though, you're better off still listening to the originals. Being Boiled still sounds better. Ain't Nobody still sounds better. They sound better on their own. It's quite a fun idea, and we all like a good mashup, but it's a novelty rather than a real song. Okay, now, one that maybe was more of a real song, a dance song anyway, Make Love, Room 5. Should we stick this one on? It's quite a big hit. Featuring Oliver Cheatham, who always gets reeled out for these things. He was some 80s guy, not very well known in the 80s, and he keeps getting wheeled out for these house things. This one's more kind of in the Spiller, French housey kind of sound. But it's a pretty good one. Good vocal, good melody, works quite well. Still fairly popular, I think. I think this one's been remixed loads and loads. Good stuff. We're off to a fairly strong start here, actually. I'm quite impressed. Okay, we follow this one with another good one, actually. Junior Senior, Move Your Feet. Very, very strange song. It's kind of almost a bit 70s-ish. I think it's got a weird sort of church bell noise on it. It's quite striking. It's not really house. It's kind of almost funky, really. But it has got a kind of modern electronic feel to it. Good stuff. Right, Sound of the Underground, Girls Aloud. I'm never going to be a big Girls Aloud song, but like all these bands, I have one or two moments. This song was a fairly striking introduction to their world. It's not underground at all. It's a bit like Sugar Babes doing Freak Like Me. It's, why are you pretending to be what you're not? It's vanilla pop. It's not underground, unless they're talking about the noise of the Northern Line, or even the Metro in Newcastle. Busted About with the Year 3000, Adequate. It just sounds very tinny and very kind of, like I said last time, it's a sort of Wilco version of Blink 182. It's not punky at all. Again, it's a bit fake. It's just so sort of middle of the road and vanilla, pretending to be kind of rock and roll. Right, Mel C, Here It Comes Again. She's gone off trance by this point, and she's gone back to indie. I will say she's doing the best stuff of all the solo Spice Girls. But if she hadn't been a Spice Girl, would anyone really give it a second listen? So it's Adequate. Right, okay, I draw the line at Sinead Quinn. This was pure TV stuff. Ditto Darius and Rushes. Not interested. Appleton, don't worry. I don't think anyone was really interested by this point. I checked the stats and they were abysmal. It was like 2,000. That's appalling. All right, I know I only get 30 views for these. But it's comparative to what they had been doing in All Saints. It's like people have just lost interest by this point. It's not bad music, but it's just got a really short shelf life, this sort of stuff. Ditto Atomic Kitten, Love Doesn't Have to Hurt. Blue, Adequate, You Make Me Wanna. It's not going to set the world alight. It's not too bad. Okay, now talking of setting a world alight, at least we've got some big hitters now. We have got a real collab. I believe they were either married or certainly going out at the time. It's the first appearance in their own right for Beyonce and Jay-Z. Now, in fact, Beyonce's trying to get credit on this video. She's trying to write Jay-Z out of the picture, but it was a collab. And it's Bonnie and Clyde, or O3 Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, not bad actually. This is... I don't know if it was in the movie Bonnie and Clyde or if it was just them kind of talking about it. Classic characters. Been immortalised in songs since the 60s and some of the old ska stuff. Don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. It was in the Israelites. There was a ballad of Bonnie and Clyde by Georgie Fame. Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, bit of UK garage sort of stuff. Jamieson, and True. Not bad. Not really very remembered, but it's quite a good tune. Zoe Burkett, Appalling, Treat Me Like a Lady, more TV stuff, I think. S Club, they've lost to 7, so I'm so confused now. Is it S Club 7? Is it S Club 8? Is it S Club 9 to the power of 2.3 recurring? You just give up by this point. Alright, One True Voice. Was that another TV thing? I think it was. I think it was an amalgam, or it was lots. It wasn't just one person. It was another boy band. Yeah, some pop stars, the Rivals. They're really milking them by this point, and this is why I'm really glad that the downloads started to come in. I've got nothing to say about Kim Marsh Cry. I've got nothing to say about Ainsley Henderson, Keep Me a Secret. Daniel Bedingfield is a rather formulaic ballad with If You're Not the One after some above average stuff. Stop Living the Lie. Yeah, David Snedden. That's actually my advice to people like the Sugar Babes and stuff. Stop living the lie. Stop pretending to be something you're not. Just be who you are. Okay, right, we follow that one up with Robbie Williams. Back again with Phil. And this is a very nice song indeed. You can trust Robbie to come up with some good ballads, and at least he's got a bit of kind of personality. And I guess he did start in a boy band, but if you remember, or if you watch back to some of my old Take That videos, well, the Take That entries on the Nows from the 90s, I never really talked about them either, because they were just so boy bandy. It was only when Robbie went off and actually did his own stuff that I started to really acknowledge it. 207 million views. That's a fifth of a billion. That's pretty good. Yeah, nice stuff. Okay, Oasis are back, and it's the first song I think that Liam wrote, Songbird. Blimey, it's not half bad. We had a Noah one last time, so it's fair that Liam gets the crack of the whip this time. And yeah, for someone who's so kind of, let's say, brutish, if you like, in his personality, it's actually quite a gentle song. So yeah, good stuff. Okay, now we say hello to another good band and another good song, The Turin Breaks and Painkiller. That's a pretty striking sort of song, certainly after some of the stuff on side 1. We've got side 2 syndrome again here, to a certain extent on this one. I've talked about that before, where side 2 is significantly better than side 1. So yeah, that's a good song. That's worth checking out, The Turin Breaks and Painkiller. Coldplay back with Clocks, another good song. Maybe not quite as good as In My Place, but good Coldplay. Now, cover time, Lulu and Ronan with We've Got Tonight, which was it Bob Seger, I think, did the original, the Bob Seger band. It's not a bad cover, actually. I'm trying to think the last time Lulu was ever on one of these. I think it was back with Independence on Now 25, I think. And We've Got Tonight, yeah. Just trying to look at who's done versions of it. Sheena Easton and Kenny Rogers. There's a good one. That's followed by Sugar Babes and Stronger. Not a bad song, actually. A bit down tempo. Don't like the beat on it, as I posted on YouTube. It's plasticky, but the strings are nice. Yeah, not bad. Okay, Beanie Man's back with Street Life, more Beanie Man, where dancehall reggae meets kind of R&B. Pretty good. Not as good as Feel It Boy, but not bad. Okay, Hey Ma by Cameron featuring Jules Santana and Freaky Zeke and Toya. That one actually features Easy, like Sunday Morning, which we'd already had on and now. I think it was Now 24, the Faith No More version. And it kind of hip-hops it up a bit formulaic, take an old song, do a bit of hip-hop on it. But it doesn't totally ruin it, it's not too bad. Okay, Nelly's back again with his second duet, this time featuring Justin Timberlake, who's also been on here. Work It. And it's pretty good. They spark off each other again. They bring out the kind of hype in each other. Yeah, it's pretty good. Actually, not too bad. Justin Timberlake's doing way better than you'd expect for someone who'd been in a boy band. But, you know, if the music's there, I'll acknowledge that. Definitely. Okay, now we go for, not the very first time, but not often enough on these nows, for some Asian music. I always like it when it comes up. This is the Panjabi MC and Mundian to Bach K. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This has had a marathon 57 million views. Yeah, this is good. This sort of stuff translates to West Yorkshire a lot more better than the Hispanic stuff, as you could probably imagine living near Bradford. I do like all this sort of stuff. Yeah, this is really cool. Really cool. It's got the Knight Rider music. Yeah, big fan of it, and we need more of this sort of stuff in the charts. I don't know why it did so well. Was it in a movie or something, or was it just, you know, people just tuned into it? Yeah, I like this one a lot. Bopping along in the seat to it. Okay, this is followed by Scooter, who always get me bopping around. Weekend, more Scooter, similar. And that one samples a song by a band that I'd not heard of, actually. They're called Earth and Fire. Nothing to do with Earth, Wind and Fire. It's not like Wind had left. Earth and Fire, they're a Dutch band. And it was almost kind of 70s Dutch reggae. Scooter kind of speed it up again and make it happy hardcore-ish. They put another shout out, I believe, to the KLF, the man in the ice cream van. Make mine a 99 and all that. I think that relates to their Top of a Pop appearance on Justified and Ancient, where they had the ice cream vans. So they've got a bit of a KLF fixation, but I like how they kind of put it in quite sneakily. If you've read the book, you'll get it, kind of stuff. Okay, DJ Sammy's back with more pseudo-trance, 80s AOR, The Boys of Summer. The Way, that's another one where Scouse House is almost coming in now. And it's quite, I think it's been hardcored up. I think I've heard a happy hardcore version of it. Probably came first, to be honest, the happy hardcore one, and then they kind of turn it into a pop thing. Right, a couple of weird covers and oldies and stuff now, with varying degrees of success. I actually really like this next one, and stick it on. It could have gone so horribly wrong, but it actually works quite well. It's Queen, and I like the way they call it Queen and Vanguard, like they did it together. I don't think they did. They might have done. And Flash, which is basically getting harder dance now. We're getting away from the cheesy sort of Eurotrance to a kind of harder, more banging sound. This is more underground. This is the sound of the underground, not bloody Girls of the House. And yeah, they've kind of mashed up Queen, but it works quite well, I think. It's weird, but I like the beats. Okay, good stuff. Now, not quite as successful is Erasure's version of Salisbury Hill. I think they missed that song. It's an old Peter Gabriel song, and it's a great song. For a start, it had the sort of weird 7 beats to a bar, and that doesn't really work very well on a synth and a drum machine. So Erasure have kind of they've kind of straightened that out and much more 4/4/4 timing, which takes away a great deal of a kind of personality and individuality of the song. Secondly, the song itself, I think, is about technology, and it's not like Peter Gabriel was a stranger to technology. Far from it. Games Without Frontiers and stuff was some of the first ever stuff to use drum machines and MIDI. But that song itself is more about kind of standing on a hill looking at where they're going to build a new road. I believe it was the A46 Bath bypass, but I could be wrong, being a bit of a road geek. And Peter Gabriel went up there at this mystical hill and he just really had a kind of spiritual experience. That does not come across in a kind of techno computerised version by Erasure. I do like their electronics. No one can do it better than Vince Clarke, but they picked the wrong song here. It really sounds like the diggers have come into Salisbury Hill now and they're actually building a new road. So yeah, not feeling that. Now another weird one is supposedly Fatboy Slim and Simon Thornton remix of the Mock Turtles. Can you dig it? But they've really done nothing to it, and it's literally like you've got two decks. You've got the original on one deck, and then you've just got a breakbeat on the other, and you're just kind of mixing it over, and that literally sounds like all they've done. You expect more of Fatboy Slim. You expect him to have kind of totally deconstructed it and reconstructed it, and he's not. I love the original song. It never made it now. By the Mock Turtles, but yeah, it's a bit of a meh remix, really. Now, one that I really don't like, and I've noticed something actually. This is similar in terms of tone to Salisbury Hill. It's an old eco song that's totally missed the point of what it should be about, and they've made it really corporate and plastic. When the song itself, Big Yellow Taxi, is railing against everything corporate and plastic. The last thing that song needs is a corporate and plastic version of it, especially by people like Counting Crows, who should know better, and Vanessa Carlton. So absolutely massacred that, really bad version of the song. And it's almost like the big companies are just kind of taking a piss out of it. It's horrible, actually. It's really offensively bad. And for me to be offended by a piece of music, what they've done to the, oh God, it's like the same people who took her dad away in the Big Yellow Taxi. They've done it themselves with that song. It's horrible corporatization of something that should be totally uncorporate. Yeah, not feeling that. Now, Richard Ashcroft is back with The Science of Silence, which is good wordplay, and it's not bad actually. This is from his album Human Conditions, and I've kind of glossed over some of them, but I think I'll give this one a play. It's quite a nice song, really. We follow this one up, in fact, with the last song, and it's the final song from Massive Attack on this album anyway. It's a comeback for them, Special Cases. Yeah, it's good, always good to have them back. By far and away, in their sleep, they can make better music. Now, I was saying about the Sugar Babes one, that it was trip-hop-y, and it had a kind of plastic beat. It just sounded really plastic. Compare and contrast, producers, with the beat on Special Cases by Massive Attack. Then you'll see why I don't like the Sugar Babes beat. Because Massive Attack know how to do proper beats. They might be electronic, but they've got a kind of groove, and they've got a kind of old school thing to them. They don't sound plastic. If we go through this album then, it's actually pretty good, but like I say, you feel the forces of corporate pop music are really kind of striking to take over everything at this point, through TV shows, through shit corporate versions of old songs. That's not to say that everything is bad, far from it. There's some really good stuff on here. But I'm well aware now, but at this point in 2003, this was one of the last hurrahs, certainly in this time, for the big corporate music business. And next year, things are going to change. So, with that in mind, I'm quite positive about the development of music over the next few years. And that's why I'm kind of going through this slightly ropey stuff. I know things get better. If we go through track by track, yep, Tattoo, all the things she said, that was a good kind of strike against blandness. And that's probably why it made song 1 on here. It was so striking. Like I Love You by Justin Timberlake. Kind of corporate, obviously, boy band stuff. But it's got some groove to it. It's got some personality. Ditto, Nelly and Kelly. The good side of corporate pop, if you like. That's Dilemma. Being Nobody's a kind of experiment. But ultimately, you go back to the originals. Being boiled still sounds better. And Make Love's quite a good dance one. Ditto Move Your Feet, Junior Senior. Well, Girls Aloud would have a big impact, and I think Sound of the Underground's relatively good for what it is. Busted, not really for me, but Year 3000 is probably fairly popular. Then there's some dross, real dross. Bonnie and Clyde, I think, is notable for Jay-Z and Beyonce. Then some more real dross. Real dross. Takes Robbie Williams and Oasis and the Tyrion Breaks and Coldplay. There's 4 good songs there. Feel, Songbird, Painkiller and Clocks. Lulu and Ronan's not too bad cover. Strong Above a Sugar Babes is okay, but the beats are plastic, as I keep saying. Couple of mere ones that are okay. Panjabi MC, Mundian to Bach, hey. Welcome bit of Asian music. Weekend by Scooter's okay. Voice of Summer's passable. The Queen, Flash, Vanguard thing's okay. Then some ropey covers and remixes. Worst of a lot is Big Yellow Taxi, massacred by Counting Crows, Ing, and Vanessa Carlton, who's like CEO of the whole corporate thing. Science of Silence, this one's quite nice. Richard Ashcroft. And Special Cases by Massive Attack. So it's a pretty good album. It is what it is. It's the high point of the kind of corporate takeover of pop before the people would start to decide via the download. I can't wait for that moment. Anyway, thank you for listening, everyone, and feel free to give your feedback and comments. Always interested in what you guys think. And yes, I know next is now 55, but if you want to point that out in the comments, I won't stop you. Feel free.